Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and a brand new expansion is finally upon us, and with that, you want to make sure that you're walking into this new experience, the World Soul Saga, as prepared as you can be. Some of the ways players do that is by leveling a couple of characters, especially if you're not sure which class you're going to main, but also setting up your UI to make sure that you're prepared for whatever experiences that you're going to be participating in. Dungeons, raids, PvP, or even if you're just looking to optimize your quality of life within the open world content of Khaz-Algar. Whether you're looking to improve the base UI elements of WoW in order to have a more organized bag or better frames of enemy characters, whether you want to be able to get more information when it comes to PvE or PvP content, or simply are trying to optimize your character to be the best that they can be with an endgame progression, and you can utilize all of these different add-ons and tools in order to help you really sharpen up that gameplay. So in today's video, I wanted to go over a suite of different add-ons that could help you set up for a quality of life experience within the War Within expansion, whether you're looking to get better at playing your character or are trying to create more conveniences and quality of life improvements when it comes to your day-to-day activities. As always, if you want to see more War Within videos like these on the channel, be sure to follow it and subscribe. Otherwise, let's dive right in. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is improve our UI a little bit with some of the most common UI improvements that players usually do. Like for example, we could always update our bag add-on, because bags have gone through quite a few UI changes, but they still don't have enough details in terms of trying to help you figure out what's where in your bags. I mean, you can customize every single one of your bags to assign all the different items to, but even if you assign all these things and you click clean up bags, it doesn't necessarily do a great job of helping you figure out what is where, and separating the bags can make things look even more chaotic than before. But the add-ons such as Baganator as well as the supporting Syndicator add-on can help you organize your bags in a much better way, allowing you to organize all these different items from your Hearthstone, which you really shouldn't have in your bags, you could use toys for that instead, but you could also have your potions, your food items, reagents, all of the different weapons, as well as armor pieces that you could swap out, quests, as well as junk items. It organizes things in a much better way so you know exactly what you are looking for. And there is even supporting tabs. If you go to your bank, it'll be able to populate your bank and all the different items you saw last time, as well as your warbound banks. If you want to preview those items while away from the bank and the warbound bank, then you can do so with this add-on. It just helps clean up and create such a quality of life aspect to managing your inventory. Now, another piece of UI that a lot of people like to switch out is the plates, because the basic Blizzard plates, they don't really offer you a lot of information. They'll give you some debuffs here and there, but usually they're not super customizable, and even the look and the appearance, a lot of players are not fan of just how they're stacked up, because sometimes you need to target the right enemy because they got to cast and you got to land and interrupt, and sometimes they can kind of overlap with one another and make things a little bit more frustrating than it has to be. This is why add-ons such as Plater exist, because they allow you to not only customize the bars, but the bars, even the default version, comes out looking a little bit cleaner, giving you all the necessary information you need as soon as you take a look at the enemy target. And fixating on specific enemies and specific bars becomes a little bit easier. Plus, there's also a ton of different profiles for Plater to further customize this experience to make it even better for healers, tanks, DPS, or whatever you need to track on enemy characters. Now, another aspect that is commonly adjusted by players is the map, which has gotten better. It's a lot more detailed. There's even all these different map legends that tell you exactly where enemies are, but they don't really give you all the information you could potentially have. They've gotten much better at changing out the maps and the way that it functions and giving you a lot more information, but it can also sometimes not give you just enough information, especially when you're looking to explore all of the content that is available out in the open world. This is where the add-on of HandyNotes as well as its War Within plugin comes into play, allowing you to better mark down all of the different secrets and enemies and rares that exist all throughout the map, giving you a lot more detailed information about where things may go. Like, you wouldn't have no idea that Grimslays actually pass all the way around this Veneration's ground area, but it tells you more or less some of the places where you'll be able to meet them. It tells you all the different little treasures for you to take advantage of, and some of the different places where certain unique enemies may also spawn, to make sure that you don't miss out any part of the open world content when you're traversing through the Khaz-Algar. But from there, let's talk about some of the more performance-oriented add-ons that are more than likely to increase your overall effectiveness as a player. Like, for example, Details, which gives you, well, the details of the damage that you're doing from all of your basic abilities, what it's hitting the hardest, the crit chance of all the abilities, but it's also helpful in telling you what you're able to do when it comes to your rotation, or if another player that's of the same class and spec is somehow hitting harder than you can also see exactly what they're doing differently than you. But details also can give you information on damage, as in like the damage you've taken, like what was that ability that caused you to die in that dungeon run, or what might have caused a wipe in a raid. It gives you all that information when it comes to damage, the outgoing and ingoing. It gives you a much better idea of exactly where you are when it comes to overall output. Another add-on that's very customizable is WeakAuras, which are a way for you to add visual reminders and visual trackers to track basic class abilities. This can be utilized selectively if you want to, where you could just track only a handful of abilities. Like, for example, if you want to be able to track some of your cooldowns more effectively, you could simply start with a new aura and make some of the different premium auras, and maybe you want to be able to track the icon of that ability. You could select buffs, for example, such as Adrenaline Rush on an Outlaw rogue, show only if buffed, so the icon will display whenever the ability is available, and then you can name it and then drag it anywhere you want to on your bars, resize it, and do whatever you want to do with it. It doesn't have to be an icon, it could be like a bar, like a timer bar that tells you when the ability is about to expire. But with this alone, it tells you exactly when it's available, so you know how long is your big burst window, so you can try to maximize all of your cooldowns inside of Adrenaline Rush. Now, you can of course play around with WeakAuras and try to make them yourself. I've done a couple of them, running the bare minimum in order to be able to play and track all those things in order to be as optimal as possible. But there's also a big support for a bunch of different WeakAuras in the WAG.io website. We're able to pick up a bunch of different WeakAuras to track all of the basic info, such as a full class suit allowing to see your resources, all of your major cooldowns, giving you timers for your debuffs such as bleeds, as well as other passives and procs, but also more specialized WeakAuras that will track very key specific abilities of a character, or maybe even watch out for the abilities of the enemy character if you set it up against bosses or against other players in PvP, for example. And overall, WeakAuras can be very customizable, giving you a lot more information on your screen that the base UI just isn't able to support. And over those performance add-ons, we also have the SimC or SimulationCraft add-on, which is able to bring up an entire string of your overall character and allows you to copy the string onto a website of raid bots in order to get even more detailed information about your character. There, you're able to sim your character to find out what kind of damage you should be doing in single target or in AoE content, and really set up a more detailed encounters depending on the content you're about to do if you're trying to get the most accurate information about your character. You could also use the Droptimizer tool, which is very helpful to find out which dungeons or which raids you should be running in order to get some of your best and biggest upgrades. Or if you just want to compare items in your bags against one another, you could do so with this add-on. And there's a collaborative effort of players trying to keep it up to date for every single class and spec regularly. Sims is a pretty big hurdle for a lot of newer players to dive into, but it is an amazing tool once you get more comfortable with it, and is definitely recommended if you're trying to get really serious about gearing out and optimizing your character for the War Within expansion. From there on, we can move on into some of the endgame content add-ons, such as PvE add-ons, and the two that are the most recommended at the bare minimum are BigWigs, as well as DBM, as well as their dungeon plugins. Both of those add-ons do the same thing. They give you bars to allow you to track all of the different boss abilities, and they give you little reminders, like if let's say you get hit by a mechanic where you gotta run away from everybody else in your group in order to reduce the damage that they take, you gotta get out into a special marker or simply get out of the group, and it'll give you in-game reminders. And this add-on can help players, especially when you're new, going into a brand new fight you've never done before. It'll tell you some of the different things that you will need to pay attention to, and these are also very customizable. DBM, I think, is the easier version for newer players. It kind of can overload you with a lot of info, but it will make sure that you are aware of every ability and will give you flashing lights and all those things, the bells and the whistles. While BigWigs is a lot more muted version that gives you a lot more customizability. So if you're an experienced player, BigWigs may be better for you, but try out both of them, see which one you like better. One is a bit more hand-holdy than the other, and either one of these add-ons also has a plugin, either a dungeon for deadly boss mechanics, or LittleWigs, which is a variation of BigWigs that is used for dungeons as well as delves. And both of those add-ons will simply give you a little bit few more reminders of all the important PvE things and mechanics and abilities that you should be aware of immediately in that moment. In the same vein, we also have PvP add-ons such as GladiusEX, which allows you to better customize those Blizzard Arena bars by giving you a party bar that you can drag and move and really adjust anything you want to in it, but also the enemy bars as well, which gives you a lot more detailed information than the basic bars would. For example, you'll be able to see if the enemy's trinket is available, what spell they're casting, what cooldowns are available to them, and even what abilities they're using in the moment, as well as what diminishing returns they are sitting on when it comes to crowd control. So if you're trying to, let's say, throw crowd control on a druid, but they're still sitting on diminishing returns for a blind, you may want to delay that blind until those DRs are up. You see in the Beastmaster Hunter just use the stun, so there's a good chance that he's setting up for some kind of a burst. This is where you may want to either go peel for an ally or throw him some healing, or try to find a way to lock down the Hunter to reduce some of the impact of the enemy damage and so forth. It just gives you a more detailed profile of what you need to see within arenas, and there's a lot of different customizability tools for this add-on specifically. Now, this season of PvP is going to see quite a bit of an expansion when it comes to rated content, with solo RBGs becoming a thing as of the season 1 of War Within. And that means you'll want to get some kind of an add-on to help you track much bigger player numbers instead of just arenas when it comes to all the different cooldowns, abilities, diminishing returns, and even enemy trinkets. And BattleGroundEnemies is the add-on that's seen the most amount of downloads, that offers the most amount of detailed information. When it comes to RBGs in particular, you're going to have a bit of a different experience. Like, you still want to be able to see if the enemy is susceptible to crowd control, or if the trinket is available to help set up some kind of a play. But if you're someone who's also going to be doing a lot of shot calling in RBGs, like telling everybody, hey, this healer, he's in the back, but he has like no health whatsoever, everybody should focus on him. Or maybe, hey, the warrior just picked up the flag, we should probably double back and try to see if you can take him out very, very quickly. That could give you a lot more information you need in the moment. It also tells you how many players are targeting each enemy as well. So if you're somebody who's going to be micromanaging BGs in order to try to get more wins, you're going to be calling, okay, everybody target the Death Knight, and you'll see that number go up. But also you'll see enemies targeting your allies as well. So let's say if you're seeing a bunch of enemies targeting your survival hunter, you can make a call like, hey, watch that hunter, he's going to be dying, or at the very least put a ping on that hunter to let the healers know that this man may be in a lot of trouble. Basically, it's an add-on that gives you a lot more needed information within rated battleground content that's also just as customizable as GladiusEX. BattleGroundEnemies also does have an arena customization for it also, so you can utilize this add-on for arenas as well, but a lot of players do prefer Gladius specifically for arenas, but BattleGroundEnemies wins out in BG type of content. And lastly, one of the other add-ons that is highly recommended is some type of an add-on that helps you manage the auction house, which is an opportunity with the auction house at the start of an expansion to make a lot of gold if you're going to be playing the auction house, or at least if you want to just maximize your profits, whether you're trying to buy all the items you need at the cheapest possible price in order to flip a profit, or if you're trying to maximize the price that you can get for all of the different items that you end up crafting or gathering and listing up on the auction house. And the add-on of Auctionator offers a lot more detailed information, like allowing to fully scan the auction house, which is not going to take this quick, but it gives you a lot more information when it comes to all the different auctions that are available. So you still have the same 3 basic Blizzard UI elements, but you have new items such as shopping that can tell you some of the different items you've searched for recently when it comes to finding various items. It also has a better selling window that gives you an idea of what is being sold and how to compare these items against others. Like somebody selling this ambivalent amber for 15,000 and allows you to post the price, how much you're going to be able to make out of the deposit, how long you want the duration to be, and all that actually detailed information. And also you can see price history of items to see exactly how they fluctuate over time, and if you need to cancel a sell, like see if somebody is undercutting you by any measure, then you'll be able to pull those items out, relist them back up, and try to see if you can put them back up on the auction house and get as much value from them as quickly as possible. There's a lot of different add-ons that are recommended when it comes to managing auction house, but Auctionator at the bare minimum is what a lot of players recommend. It is the easiest plug and play type of option that allows you to start getting a bit more detailed information out of the auction house, especially if you don't want to be managing all the minutia all on your own. Like on Silent Tab in particular, that is extremely nice when it comes to be able to compare items, especially over on the live realms. And with that, that's going to be all of the top rated add-ons that you probably should get for the War Within expansion. As always, I want to thank all of you guys so much who watched this video, and I hope all of you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very very much appreciate it. It helps my channel get out into the algorithm, especially this sort of expansion, which is such a help. So I would appreciate you guys greatly. Join our Discord community if you got any questions specifically, or if you are having a problem setting up these add-ons. There's a good chance somebody or I might be able to give you some useful information. So join our Discord community. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.